faculty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm back. I am Jay with Guilty of Crime, and today we're talking about Devil in the Family, the fall of Ruby Franke. And the reason I call it that is because, well, the Hulu show is called that. We want to relate the fall of Ruby Franke with were Jodi and Ruby, in fact, lovers. All right. So it says she's mine, and then hashtag Hulu, hashtag reaction to it, you guys. My gosh, these women, in my opinion, were like two planets that collide, two things that came together at the perfect time to create. Now, who? Wait, what? Are you on the right episode, Nanaska? We're talking about the fall of Ruby Franke, Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke. What, did I miss something? All right, before we even go any further, you guys do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and get a membership if you can. We're talking about what happened on Hulu, and let me just tell you, if you know nothing about Ruby Franke, she had a channel for years called A Passengers. All right, very, very popular vlogger, had 8 passengers, were herself and her husband, and 6 children. Now, in August of 2023, it quickly became one of the biggest stories in America about the abuse that was happening on Ruby Franke's YouTube channel. So it was all documented on the channel, and cancel culture came along and said, you guys need to unsubscribe to this 2.5 million subscriber channel, because look at what this momfluencer is doing. She was making her life look like it was perfectly normal to not feed your children when they forget, and to do very horrible, abusive things in front of the camera in the name of Jesus. Now, behind closed doors, Ruby and her friend Jodi, they unleashed a whole bunch of abuse, which I uncovered in previous episodes. Now, the truth came to light recently when her daughter, her son, and the father talked about it. Now, the 2 children escaped, luckily, because they would have died. I'm telling you right now, those women and the documentation, those evil women, were calling those children exactly what Lori Vallow called hers. They were zombies and they were evil. Okay. So they abused. Now, Ruby and Kevin did before Jodi. I'm not sure what I missed, but let me tell you something. I think there's a misconception about the 8 Passengers channel and when Jodi and Ruby collided. Now, the 8 Passenger channel was very popular. People followed many things that Ruby Franke was saying. But when cancel culture came along and her children started growing up and realizing, screw this, something hit hard and Ruby needed a therapist. And so the therapist that was not really a therapist was Jodi Hildebrandt. Joyous N, I'm glad you caught alive. So we got two peoples colliding, guys, and I'm going to tell you what. The family says Jodi and Ruby would come out of their room on cloud 9, all sweaty and like they just had sex. Now, it's a lot more than that, guys, but I am telling you, my episode is to tell you, were they lovers? And I'm going to say absolutely. But I believe Jodi Hildebrandt was a very, very homophobic, and she was afraid of herself. And because she was afraid of herself, she brought the children that were left in the household into their situation, and she abused them. She wanted to get rid of the children so that her and Jodi and Ruby can be together. Now they also had to get rid of the husband, you guys. Now, it was the son that needed the therapist. That's what they say. But when they hired the therapist for their son, it also became a family therapist. And in fact, Jodi gave all of them the advice that she wanted to give them to break the family up and whatever fell under her, that whatever would benefit her. Okay, so it's a big story to cover. You got to know the backstory. What's up, Indy? How you doing? All right, you have to know the backstory. You go back on my playlist. I've covered this. What I'm talking about today is the downfall, and the devil in the family, in my opinion, was Jodi Hildebrandt. Now, Ruby, I believe, was already evil. You bring two entities together, a crazy narcissistic lady and another crazy narcissistic, lying, evil lady that has a ton of money, and bam, you got this. All right, I'm going to show you a couple clips so you understand what the hell I'm talking about real quick. So if you don't know anything about this, they're now doing time. They both got 30 years, up to 30 years. I don't know when they're going to be out, but let me just show you this. This is Jodi Hildebrandt, and this will give you a little clip into their relationship and the exposure. So just listen. I have a few clips that I want you to share with you. And also, I want you to see that this lady right here, she actually pretended to be possessed so that um so that Ruby's husband would think that she needed help, and they invited her to move in. But when she was possessed, she would say things like, she's mine, I own her, I want her. In my opinion, it was her wanting Ruby. All right, so Ruby, Frankie, and Jodi, and I'll get to it. So if you don't know anything about this case, here we go. All right. Yeah, Utah and the LDS, man, they went off the chain. But this didn't happen until later on, guys. This wasn't happening the whole time. These two collided at one point, and all of a sudden, bam, everything just flipped the script. Thank you so much again, Indy. Let me play this real quick so you kind of understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Jodi was Ruby's marriage counselor. She moved into Ruby's home and convinced her that her husband was evil. Eventually, Ruby's husband was forced to move out completely. After that, the two women became inseparable. Jennifer Franke, Ruby's sister-in-law, said the following: "A lot of the family is starting to believe that Ruby and Jodi may have more than a professional relationship. What makes these suspicions even more shocking is that by all accounts, Jodi is an extreme homophobe. This might be further proof that Jodi harbors secret homosexual desire." A study published in the Journal of Personality notes homophobic participants were attracted to members of the same sex.
And that's what I also wanted to talk about too, because they were so homophobic. She was always preaching. When I say her, I mean Jodi Hildebrandt was preaching how bad being gay is. And yeah, she tortured her niece, and she did it so much. But in front of her niece, she said, it would be okay to be gay as long as you're emotionally connected with your lover. If you're not, and she said, well, that's what gay is. That's what gay is. You're emotionally connected with your lover. Sunshine, you say, I agree. She enjoyed breaking up marriages, probably wanted all the women. She obviously hates men. I also call her Stinky Jodi because the husband said she would walk around the house stinking like shit. She didn't shower. She'd run around in the hot weather with hoodies. and she just smelled like shit. She literally just smelled all the time until Jodi and Ruby started sleeping in the same room together and they kicked everyone out. Then all of a sudden, glorious, stinky Jodi wasn't like that anymore. All of a sudden, she was happy. And the things they did, yeah, she does look like she smells. She was also a cutter. She cut herself so she'd always wear long sleeves so people couldn't see it. Now, Carolina says before the Frankies, Hildebrandt lived with the other couple. They asked Frankie to take her. Nobody wanted her. And the man that was helping her, I believe the priest, couldn't even handle her anymore because she was just outlandish. Now, there's a whole story, but yeah, this is what so much to talk about. I didn't realize all of you knew this much about it.
Findings show that homophobic attitudes were most common in those who had been raised by authoritarian parents. As a therapist, Jodi is exceptionally manipulative. She has a history of breaking up families and abusing children, all under the guise of spiritual ascension. Jodi was Ruby's marriage counselor.
All right, so I'm going to stop that one and we're going to go to the next one. I want you to see now the daughter wants absolutely nothing to do ever. And she said this in the documentary. She wrote her own book, right? The House of My Mother. I know many of you guys may have read it or not. I don't know. This is all over social media. Right? Thanks, Carly. So I'll be right back. Carly sent this over to me to listen to, and she sent me the perfect clip. Now, not only is this a train wreck, guys, but I wish I could show you the abuse that happened to these children. Now, luckily, the older children, hence the one that wrote the book, was able to communicate what happened and what was going on. Then the second oldest, right? He's the second oldest, Chad, or is that the husband? I get their names mixed up. I just know the kids because there's so many of them. Anyway, 2 of them went to family. 2 of them were grown up and got kicked out. And the other 2 were locked in different rooms. They didn't see each other for a whole month, you guys, while Ruby and Jodi were off being lovers somewhere. So yeah, Sadie's mom is going to say my battery since outlets in the yard don't work. You do that. I hope you're okay. Much love to you. Yeah, Chad's the oldest, and he actually believed in all of this. He thought that stinky Jodi was going to be the savior, and the husband bought into it like a $2 ice cream that you buy because you don't even care if it's good or not, because it's $2. He bought into that story. Man, if you guys watch The Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke, you're going to think that man is a fool. I did say that. I said Chad's the second oldest. The oldest is the daughter that wrote this, and then Chad, and then you have the other 2 that we don't really know. They were off at the families, and then the youngest that were being abused and escaped. All right. Yeah, he did anything Ruby said. He wanted his wife so bad that he was willing to leave the family in despair. He didn't know. She said, hey, Jesus said that we need to do this and you need to stop watching PORN. And he just listened to her. I mean, if you want to talk about a milk toast guy, have you ever heard that? Yeah, this is a good one. He's a cuck. You want to hear about a cuck? I gotta say, this guy needs to finally drop his balls. He might have some balls that he's grown, but those balls ain't dropped yet, let me tell you. All right, that documentary was good. It was. All right, listen up. This is Ruby Franke's oldest daughter, and she says, I don't want anything to do with my mom. I never will. She doesn't even call her mom. She calls her Ruby. All right, listen closely here.
And easily figured out her password to her Apple iCloud account. I read some text messages, emails, and journal entries in the Notes app that confirmed for me the truth about the nature of her relationship with Jodi and how it had spilled over into the physical. Ruby expressing her frustration about having to cater to Jodi's needs for physical affection without getting anything in return. My mother servicing someone else? First time for everything. I didn't read on. What happened between them romantically was none of my business. I didn't care to know nor think about it any pops and easily figured out her password to her Apple iCloud account.
All right, now you guys, she says that. She says that, but I'm sure she's curious about it. She does claim, and if you watch the Follow Ruby Frankie, they do ask again, and she talks about the stories of them coming out of the room all flustered and euphoric. They would send the children outside, send the husband away, and just be in the room effing like rabbits, guys. They were like two little bunnies humping each other, coming out and abusing the children. And it's terrible because, both of them were two peas in a pod. Two peas in a pod. I believe that Jodi and Ruby are equally evil, in my opinion. The eldest daughter has brass ones, glad she's away from her parents. Yeah, she got kicked out. Her mom said, "Get the F out of here." They even kicked out Chad when he was 17. That poor guy, man, he's gonna have issues for a long time. I'm telling you right now. So I was looking at this, and homophobia is associated with homosexuality. Many people, and you saw that, you heard it earlier about the study of it. They say the authors investigated the role of homosexual arousal in exclusively heterosexual men who admitted negative effect towards homosexual individuals. Participants consisted of a group of homophobic men, they say 35, and a group of non-homophobic, I can't even say homophobic, non-homophobic men. They were assigned to groups on the basis of their scores of index. So you got men that are homophobic and men that are not homophobic. The men were exposed to sexually explicit, erotic stimuli consisting of heterosexual male and lesbian videotapes, and changes in penile circumference were monitored. They also completed an aggression questionnaire. Both groups exhibited, increases in penile circumstances to heterosexual and female homosexual. Only the homophobic men showed a huge increase in penile erection to the male homosexual stimuli. The groups did not differ in aggression. Homophobia is apparently associated with homosexual arousal, and individuals may or may not be aware of it, but the ones that are aware of it tend to have more homophobic tendencies. They're loud about it. They're aggressive about it. They're like, "Hey, get out of here, you FAG." And I can say that. Yeah, they're the ones that tend to gay bash and push the subject and call guys. You know what I'm saying? What's the matter with Wyatt? I agree, Kung Fu Panda. Sherry walked in the room to get some, and she saw candles and oils all over the room. There you go. There's another reason 112 why Jodi and Ruby are lovers, or were lovers. They hated men, which included Ruby's son and husband. Yeah, that's crazy how much wood you got. That's exactly what they did. They measured it all. All right, guys, don't forget, we're a fan-funded channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership, Super Cash, Super Sticker, Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. And only if you have the means, guys. Don't apologize if you can't, all right? Can we say we are what we eat? Sure, why not? All right, let me pull this down. And then I'm going to go in. Oh, I got to show you this, guys. This is what got me. When I saw this, I knew I had to cover this. I said, I need to show this. This is insane. This is one of the most manipulative things that you could do to somebody. First of all, it's manipulative to use Jesus, just like Chad and Lori Daybell. It's so manipulative to use Jesus as a way to get into someone's family and household. But what's even worse is to pretend like you're possessed or the devil's following you around and you can't stay alone. And then in your possessed trances, you're sitting there talking about this poor man's damn wife, not the wife, poor man, growling and acting like, I need this. She's mine. I've never seen anything like this, guys. Never. And thank you, Wyatt, for helping spit the facts. Chad was tired of being filmed and getting $10 per video while they were making $200,000 a month. You guys also want to hear something funny? Yeah, sacrilegious. It's not that funny, but it is. Jodi and Ruby absolutely were lovers, in my opinion. Jodi got Ruby to sign over the rights with just a couple of clicks. They were making over anywhere between $1 to $2 million a year on 8 passengers. And freaking stinky Jodi, talked Ruby into handing that to her. She said, that's the devil's work. You give that to me. So then that's how they became the moms of truth. Literally in 2 seconds, Ruby changed the name of 8 passengers to the Moms of Truth and literally handed an empire of $2 million a year to this lady that we're going to see in her possessed trances. And that was not her money to give. That was her money as well as her husband and the children. The children were under a contract. They were supposed to get paid. And this bitch, Ruby Franke, handed it over to this nasty, stinky, fake possession, man-hating, nasty cutter of a woman. And no offense against people that cut or whatever, but man, that's evil. That is pure freaking evil, guys. I don't think this is on. Is it on Netflix or Hulu? I think it's on Hulu, guys. It's not on Netflix. Can you guys? Did I get that wrong? Yeah, more like the mom of lies. She wasn't even a therapist, you guys. Such big lies. $4 a month, 99. I hate supporting Disney. All right, it's on Hulu. Yeah, not Netflix, guys. It's on Hulu. If you guys want to watch it, please go watch it on Hulu. All right, check this out. This is the weirdest shit I've ever seen, and there'll be more of it. I just can't show it without getting kicked off.
Ruby Franke documentary, but I had to stop watching. Come to TikTok because I want to talk about Jodie Hildebrandt's possessed trances. When Jodi moved into the Franke's home, Kevin said weird things started happening. Jodi would go into these possessed trances. Footage of this was shared in the new documentary. I want to share those, but just a heads up, it's been heavily edited, so hopefully it's not taken down.
Jodi would go into these possessed trances.
Now, they're doing this because we'll get kicked off. They'll pull my stream down right now. So I'm going to do some more. Yeah, I absolutely think she faked her trances. Absolutely. That girl was trying to get, Ruby must have had a golden vajayjay, guys, because she wanted that vajayjay, that golden vajayjay so much. She was doing this. This is disgusting to me. And I just imagine how bad she smells. Yeah, Jodi's in prison now. She can have all the vajayjay she wants. They thought she was a god. They literally thought she was a god, and she's over there doing this. This is disgusting. This is the most disgusting thing I've probably ever seen, besides Stefan Stern's Pinky Winky, guys.
As you start speaking in other voices,
She's mine. She's mine.
That's creepy.
and Ruby believed that it was meant to be, and that me and her were meant to help Jodi overcome this.
Is she
And I want to smack this husband. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, guys, I want to freaking smack him. It's like he's so oblivious. Like he's so delusional. I think there's a problem. There's a thing about being religious and being spiritual, guys. But listen up. When you're in this delusion and this weird fantasy, and you're gonna hand over your empire and do anything for a person, nobody else is God or Jesus besides God or Jesus, guys. Something's wrong. That guy, when you watch the documentary, her husband, you just want to smack him. You feel bad for him, and then you want to smack him. Now, you know what? You're right, Lynette. I don't, when I see the abuse that the children went through, I don't feel bad for him. Those children were heavily abused, head shaved, down to the bones. I mean, just awful, guys. Yeah, my eyes. All right, let me, oh God, this is just, I don't even know. It's so cringe.
How did you think you could help Jodi
It's so weird.
casting the evil spirits out,
The evil spirit.
What?
exorcising them out?
Okay. That is so insane to me. It was creepy, but I also feel like Jodi was acting. Kevin said he would place his hands on Jodi's head and command the demons to depart. And then he would state every name of Jesus Christ that he could think of. He said the evil spirits were very reactive to those names, that Jodi would thrash and hiss and wail and growl. He said it was like Jodi was being hurt every time he said one of those names, and he absolutely believed that it was real.
And you know what? It could have been real because she could have been Kylie. I agree with you. She could have been bringing dark spirits into wherever she was. She was in this $5 million house all by herself, and she was being tortured probably by her own damn thoughts, you guys. So I'm not going to say that that didn't happen, but she absolutely is just disgusting, and she was using that, in my opinion, for her own gain. She was so bad that the was it the priest or one of the people from the church was like, I can't handle this crap. And yes, the kids they didn't see this, but I'm sure they've seen it now, you guys. This is a cult. Yes, I agree. What's up, Psychic Amelia? How you doing, my girl? Good to see you. All right, I don't normally film this late, but here I am.
What do you guys think? Was Jodi really possessed by something, or was it just an act? Let me know what you think.
Now, I'm not saying dark things didn't surround her when she was in that $5 million house out in the middle of nowhere, but I believe that she was faking this to get what she wanted. She's literally growling, she's mine, I want her. We know what you want. You wanted that golden vajayjay you thought you were going to get, lady. Crazy. Absolutely insane. All right, what else did I have? Okay, so this one I want to play because this is a really good one. Ruby, Frankie, and Jodi Hildebrandt, disturbing religious psychosis, the exorcisms. All right, we're gonna get into that. Ooh, I'm big on here. What's up, everybody? You notice I got my beanie on. I'm freaking freezing. Can someone send me pizza? I'm freaking hungry and I'm cold. All right. Yeah, you guys do me a favor when we're done with this and share, because I'm putting in the parts that just absolutely mind blowing. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't a good documentary, folks, but it was a little slow at first. And if you know the story, it's like you kind of want to fast forward and get to the juicy parts. So I'm bringing the juicy parts. What's up, Maggie? Haven't seen you. I haven't seen you today. I don't think so. She's a psychopath. Now, if you heard her when she actually was sentenced, she didn't care one bit. And I believe Ruby Franke didn't either. She just learned what to say. Yeah, hit the like button, people. Hit that like button. What are you doing? You ate a cold hot dog. That Carly. Kung Fu crazy. Who lets their therapist move in? And not only did they did that, but they freaking let their therapist move in because she was possessed, and they took the daughter's room. Now, hence the daughter was going to move out and go to college anyway, but the daughter started Googling this stinky Jodi, and she found out so much about her, and they said, no, you guys get out of here. Go loot. You're trying to bring our family down. How do I send figure? Hey, if Stinky Jodi could mind control, I bet you can get someone to send you a pizza. I bet you can. Yeah, holy crap. All right, let's watch. Let's get into it because I can't be here all night. I'm actually freezing and I'm hungry. Thank you so much, Rosie. I appreciate you. Yeah, it was a cult thing in LDS. She had a lot of people fooled, guys. There was whole groups of people that are in that documentary. All right, let's check this out, and let me make sure I get you guys the before I go any further. This I didn't even subscribe. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to say this. Kailu. Let me drop a link down there. I think I put it in my description, but I can't say it. The creator's name is Kyeluh. I'll drop it in chat. Never heard of him.
At the very beginning of this video, I just need to let you all know, I didn't realize for about 5 to 6 minutes of this video,
Hold on. Sorry. I want you to play this. I want you to see this real quick. She's mine.
At the very beginning of this video, I just need to let you all know, I didn't realize for about 5 to 6 minutes of this video, unfortunately, I did not realize that my mic was not plugged in. So we're going to be listening to some awful audio that is from my camera before several different videos because I did not like left unanswered. He ended up leaving her on red and then blocking her number. We're going to talk about him in another one, but in this one, okay, I want to talk about the whole possession and paranormal side of this docu-series because it was so uncomfortable to watch and so weird. And I feel like we got to talk about this today. And there's a point that I want to bring up that I've seen other people bring up as well that I feel is very, very important to talk.
And this is why I chose this creator because I wanted to, I like this creator too. I just found her recently. I was trying to find someone that can relay the message of what I'm trying to relay. Now that documentary is 3 long episodes. So there's a lot of things in there that tell the entire story. I'm just trying to tell you the part where it just gets crazy and the mind blowing shit that I found. So I'm like, dude, this is gotta. I don't get it. She's not attractive, has poor hygiene. Oh my God. But it had nothing to do. Look at Chud Dumbbell. Chad Daybell is one of the ugliest people that they call him that anyway. Chud Dumbbell. Chad Daybell. Looking like I always forget. Looking like a cartoon, right? Chad Daybell had women swarming. One of the ugliest guys. It wasn't about how he looked. It was the words he said. He didn't even have money, but Jodi, Stinky Jodi, was a millionaire, guys. I don't know how, but she was. Thank you, Tish. Thanks for being a member for 7 months. Yeah, people know how to brainwash, apparently. Maybe there's brainwashing school. All right, let's get into this. I really want to get into the religious psychosis of this damn docu-series.
So if you don't know, Hulu released a docu-series about Ruby Franke, and this series is good in the sense that it shows a lot of footage that we haven't seen.
Yes.
Kevin said he gave them over 1,000 hours of unseen footage. So we do see footage that Ruby never wanted to have out there.
Yeah.
I cannot help but feel like Kevin picked through it before he gave it to them. So there is that one clip of Ruby grabbing E by the face and like pulling her down, and like Kevin's like saying cut to the person who edits their videos because they did have an editor. I found that out, saying cut, don't put this in the footage. So, I mean, we see right there, Kevin helped hide Ruby's behavior because he was there when she did that. Like if my husband ever grabbed my son like that, we would have a big problem. The docuseries shows a lot of footage that we haven't seen.
You know what I'm going to do before I go back to this? And thank you so much, Clar. You didn't have to do that. You're so sweet for the $4.99 super sticker. I'm going to jump back to this woman in a second. I'm glad we have 155 people in here. I was going to cut it a little bit shorter if nobody was even going to be here. I was like, why even bother? I'll just put it out and let it circulate. I want to show you guys this before we even get into this because I feel like the visual is the most important thing. So before I even let this woman talk, let me do this. You guys got to see this because that was one of the best things for me was watching the footage that I had never seen. I didn't even know it existed, guys. It was behind the scene footage that they cut out. Now let's hope they didn't pull this down. All right, check this out, guys.
Get out!
Get out!
There's a devil in the family, and her name is Ruby Franke. She just wanted to show the view of a Mormon happy family.
But they only saw what we wanted to show them.
Thumbs up, subscribe.
Frankie's vlog was immensely popular as she shared her daily Mormon Utah life for millions of viewers, presenting the image of a perfect family. Behind the scenes, a very different reality.
Sit her down on the flipping couch.
Frankie's world came crashing down one August day nearly
There it
2
is.
years ago with the simple ring of a doorbell.
If you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
One of her 6 kids had escaped and frantically run to a neighbor's home.
Wondering if you could do 2 favors.
You guys remember all this? Carly, I know you remember this. We were trying to play this footage and my whole channel got pulled down because they were coming out with like a 2020 or something like that. Now, these kids, you know, this generation doesn't give a mother fuck. And these kids said, I am not listening to this crazy ass B. So they did what they wanted. And they were joking around on the show, but she couldn't control those kids. Now, the other children, they were able to control with therapy. And, you know, when you don't have cell phones, the cell phones that they did have were like the flip phones. Now, kids nowadays, they don't put up with that shit, guys. They have instant communication and they're born with iPads. They know what's right and they know what's wrong. And these kids said, I ain't gonna do this shit. So she couldn't get them under control. That was the problem.
Well, what are they? Taking me to the nearest police station.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. When the neighbor asks what's going on, the boy says it's personal business. The man and his wife call police.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry and he's thirsty.
Need someone immediately.
You're not in trouble with me.
Yeah, that was the part right there.
Our main focus right now is you.
Look at how skinny.
Who put the ropes on you?
In that moment, all Ruby's dark family secrets were.
So when you think about feeling bad for her husband, that's when I don't, is when I remember seeing that with the little girl in the closet with her hair shaved and they thought it was a boy. And the reason they did that, folks, is because they wanted to take her sexuality away. They didn't want her to start to grow into like how girls do. Girls start to get boobs. They grow their hair long. They start to fill out their sexuality at a certain age. They get crushes on boys or whatever it is they like. So they took that away from her by shaving her hair. All right. What's up, Nicole? Good to see you, girl. So skinny. There's some awful pictures, guys, that are heartbreaking that I'm not going to show. I'm just kind of giving you guys a recap of what this is about, and then I'll go to the other one, into the religiosity thing. All right.
About to spill out for the world to see. Abuse, dysfunction, even accusations of exorcisms, enough to ultimately land Ruby in prison.
Ms. Franke, how do you plead to count 1, child abuse?
Guilty.
To count 3, child abuse?
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children. Guilty.
They are a family who've been through an extraordinary, a real trauma.
Ollie Lambert directed a new 3-part Hulu series, Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke. The expose digs into the shocking true crime story that gripped the nation.
It is an extraordinary tale of our times, of what happens when fame and money and online blogging and religious extremism all come together. It really is a modern day fable of how you can take.
This lady, I was going back and watching some of the 8 Passenger stuff, and I truly believe this lady is associated with the devil. Those books that she was writing in and the things she was saying about her children, you just don't say. You don't do. All right. Yeah, you guys do have to watch. You guys got to go over to Hulu, watch Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke. My God.
Very wrong steps, and it can put you at extreme risk.
Why didn't you stand up to say this is nonsense? If I dwell on that question, it eats me alive.
Ruby's estranged husband, Kevin, tells all, but many are wondering, where was he when all of this was going down? Casey Baker wrote this week's cover story on the Frankies for People magazine.
He said, Ruby hid a lot from me, and he was shocked to find out a lot of what happened, he said he didn't know.
The doc has unprecedented access to the family, including eldest son Chad, who says behind the kid's smiles was sadness, and behind his mother, something far more sinister.
Fake being happy.
That pissed me off.
Okay? I don't know if I can right now.
Things took a dark turn when the kids started rebelling. Ruby and Kevin started seeing Jodi Hildebrandt, a therapist with a revoked.
It's Hildebrandt, not Heidelbrandt. And I have so many clips of them sitting next to each other, you guys, holding hands, touching, being very affectionate, being overly happy. And hey, guys, I've already come out to you guys how many times? Did you know I was gay? Did you know I was a lesbian? Would someone call me the other day a bull dyke? All of that, guys. I just came out to you guys again. Nothing's wrong with being gay. But those two took it to another level because they were so you think it's not gender related? Well, I appreciate you disagreeing, but absolutely. You got to watch the documentary, girlfriend. Watch the documentary. I believe that's what that fueled it all. She wanted what she couldn't have, and so she got rid of them one by one to get to Ruby. All right, yeah. What? No. Sorry, it's my coming out story. Yeah, no, it was two worlds colliding that were already bad. Two bad people that came together, and it made it even worse, guys. Thanks for the love, guys. I don't even hate them because they're gay. I hate them because they're... Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. Yeah, 111 reasons why. There are 112 reasons. Oh, synth.
License, known for her hardline stance on discipline. As Ruby leaned into the therapist's teachings, the two became extremely close.
There's this female Jodi that your wife was. Do you know a female named Jodi?
She is a therapist and a life coach.
Is your wife a client of hers? Is your wife a partner of hers? Is your wife a roommate with her?
But Hildebrandt is out of advice when she's brought in for questioning.
We just honestly want to understand what their dynamic is, what happened to the children. And after talking to Kevin, it sounds like you know a lot about their dynamic and their relationship.
The criminal physical stuff happened after Jodi came into the picture.
Kevin says Jodi and Ruby forced him to move out and cut off contact with his kids, including eldest son Chad.
I was also required to move out of the house and never contact my siblings, never go back home.
She gets her hooks into.
Yeah, you guys do need to watch this because I feel so bad, especially for Chad. You guys, he really is going to need quite a bit of therapy. I feel like his mom, even though he on the outside he looks okay and very handsome. By the way, they exploited him when he was a child because all the girls wanted to watch because of him. I just watched Dateline where pastor convinced dozens of women they needed to Exactly. And I don't know why. I think if people actually would pay attention more to what the Bible says and God and how that feels being spiritual, they wouldn't want to look to a person. People actually thought she was directly communicating with God. This lady, they thought she was communicating with God and they were looking to her like she was a god. You are not supposed to do that. Yeah, he's a very handsome young man. Yeah, he did get a lot. Kylie says, I'm proud to be me and I'm proud that you're you. I make Deb Stern head explode, right? Vulnerable adults. Yeah, they all sound batshit is what it sounds to me. All right, let's keep going. Thank you guys for being here.
To you. And slowly begins to indoctrinate you and condition you to believe that you yourself aren't capable of making good decisions.
Jodi pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child abuse. She and Ruby are currently serving sentences in Utah up to 30 years each. Ex-husband Kevin now left to deal with the emotional fallout.
I'm not ashamed to say that, after being married over 20 years to that woman, I truly did and still do love her. But that doesn't excuse how she hurt our children and how she hurt me.
Damn. All right. That gave you guys a little bit of insight before I just jumped right in. All right. Let's get into this next clip. Thank you guys so much for being here. I have 172 people in chat, which is really awesome because many times when I'm not doing the Madeline Soto episode, nobody's here. So love is love. Their sentences, they got up to 30 years. In Utah, they're really harsh on that. And it was they were doing it in the name of LDS, you guys. Again, go back to my playlist and watch it. I have a Jodi and Ruby, and it goes into the sentencing. You watch the sentencing, you watch the body cam. There's so much more to this case, and it's all in my playlist. It's just been a while since I've done it. I bet Ruby is a top dog in prison. That's so funny, guys. And we appreciate you. Thank you. And we do have the best, most loyal mods. Yes, go get Hulu. You gotta subscribe. Just subscribe for a month. You'll be hooked.
So it was good in that sense. I just mean, I feel like Kevin got away with some stuff. But anyways, the Jodi Hildebrandt portion of this docuseries, when she comes into the picture, things get so disturbing. So they talk about how, you know, Jodi Hildebrandt really liked to break up relationships and marriages. Right. She liked marriages to fail because she didn't have anybody for herself. I mean, she has this huge house, like way out into the desert. And let me say, this house I find to be so freaking ugly.
Walk through.
It's kind of scary.
They still have a Ring camera. This is creepy. This is like traumatizing. Hopefully we don't get in trouble. I just need to see the trauma. It's actually such a beautiful home. You think this gate's locked? He said, you think this gate's locked? This is disgusting.
Now, that house went up for sale, you guys, and that's a lot of money in Utah. It went up for sale for $5 million. And when you go inside, it's like it takes forever to get from one side of the house to the other. She didn't even use it. She only used parts of it. And that's how she kept the two children separate from each other. They said they hadn't seen each other in a freaking month. There's a lot of houses like that out there. People over there that are into the LDS stuff are prepping for the end of times, guys. Literally prepping for the end of time. Now, millions of dollars isn't a lot somewhere. If you're here in San Jose and you have a $5 million home, it doesn't mean shit. A $5 million home is like, wow, it was made in 1975. But a $5 million home in the middle of Utah like that is absolutely, yeah, you need a golf cart to ride through it. Thank you, Vanessa, for still being here. All right, yeah, let's keep going. Wrap this up. I gotta go eat after this.
This is just heart-sickening.
Yeah, I think so. I think she was married.
This is so sick. This is so gross.
It's scary. Look at you can't even, it blends in with the rocks.
It looks like a prison. There's not a tree in sight, which I get it. That's Utah. Utah is really pretty, but I couldn't live there because I need a little bit of like greenery in my life. Looks like a freaking prison, and I guess it was, right? So she lived in this house alone prior to Ruby and her children moving in there for a while. But she lived in this massive house alone, and it had like a panic room and a huge like serial killer style basement. Like this place is massive and uglier than sin. I think it looks cold. I think it looks empty. I see no love there, no personality, no pictures on the walls. There's just nothing. Like this is the home right here of an evil woman.
Yep.
And you know what? Maybe she went a little bit crazy living in this huge house out in the middle of nowhere by herself for so long because nobody loved her because she's a piece of shit.
Love that she said that. And you guys, I've said that the whole episode. Ruby already had sadistic and narcissistic tendencies and how she treated the kids. And when we go back and look at episodes, we see that it's just two women collided that have both equal tendencies, and they came together and that made an explosion. So yeah, they validated each other. It's just truly disgusting. That house reflects Jodi, I suppose. I'm addicted to this story, and you should be. This is crazy. Looks soulless. No wonder she was having devils come and visit her in the house.
Anyway, so Jodi Hildebrandt was notorious for breaking up relationships, breaking up families, and she successfully did that with Ruby's family. She ended up getting Ruby to kick Kevin out, and then Chad, her son, was kicked out. Sherry was already moved out. And then she took the 2 older girls that were left and moved them in with somebody else so that they could take E and R back to Jodi Hildebrandt's house and do all of the horrific things that she did to them there. But prior to them going there, prior to Kevin being kicked out, Jodi Hildebrandt moved in because there were some weird things they said that was going on with her where she was struggling with demon possession. So she, like, during the day was like preaching on Zoom calls, and then at night was possessed by demons. And there's some footage. I'll have to show that to you all right here. And I'm sorry in advance because it's very cringy, but just watch this.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the worst footage.
Jodi would go into these possessed trances.
It's creepy.
And she would start speaking in other voices.
She's not.
She's mine.
She's not. She knows.
And Ruby believed that it was meant to be that me and her were meant to help Jodi overcome this.
Now, this is the point that I have seen other people bring up on social media that I feel like is it's just so telling. So Kevin talked about how they would try and exorcise the demons out of Jodi Hildebrandt at night. And they also talked about how there was paranormal stuff happening in the house that they couldn't explain. And there was just this weird vibe, probably because of freaking weirdos that lived in there. And so Kevin and Ruby would try and cast the demons out of Jodi Hildebrandt, right? But then it got to the point where they'd be up all night doing it and exhausted, which this is just so creepy to me that this was going on. It is so disturbing and weird to me. Like, these people are in religious psychosis and it's disturbing. Oh my God. Anyway, so it gets to the point where Ruby's like, hey, Kevin, I'm going to need you to stay out of here. And I'm going to actually sleep in this room that used to be my daughter Sherry's room. I'm going to sleep in this room with Jodi at night and just cast the demons out of her all night long. We're just going to be.
She can't even say that crazy because that's what they did. No, we're going to cast the demons out all night long with oil and candles, and we're going to come out all flustered. You guys got to go play outside while we're doing that because we don't want you to hear anything. She'd send the kids outside, and their husband just let her do that, man. Yeah, like, what the actual mother truck? Like, what is that? Yeah, so Christian of them. So I don't even know what to say about this. All I can say is like, share, subscribe, and let your friends know about this crazy story. That way it doesn't happen to them. If you ever see someone's husband fall for this, show them this.
Be hanging out in the bed, casting demons out of each other, if you know what I mean. And so Kevin's like, okay, fine. Because I'm like complicit and compliant in everything, and whatever you say goes, and I let you run the house and abuse our children and do whatever you want to do. So I'll just go ahead and, head over here into the room before you kick me out for good. Go have fun with your new girlfriend. And so Ruby starts staying in the room with Jodi Hildebrandt while all night long she's doing this.
That
sarcasm. Freaking weirdo. Like, imagine that this is how you act at night, but then during the day you're like, you need to live in truth. You need to live in truth. Your children are walking zombies. Absolutely no self-awareness. Like, these people are in religious psychosis and it's actually scary. So anyways, the point that I've seen people bring up is that it's interesting that Ruby gave Jodi a really nice room, had it set up all nice for her, and would sleep in there with her to comfort her all night long during her demon possession. But her kids that she claimed was possessed.
Right now. No, you
you throw them on the ground and you start rolling them. You get a blanket and you start hitting the flames. And they're going to say, you're hurting me. You're beating me. You're controlling. It's like, no, dear, hold still. I'm getting the fire out. That's what a loving parent does.
Those she had to do all of this horrific stuff to get those demons out. And honestly, reading her journal, she was going to keep going until they died.
She was going
like she was going to go until they were no longer here. And when he left the house and went and rang the door.
Now, this really is serious stuff, but Stoic Dissension, you know how my channel is. There's only so many bad things that you can absorb in a day. If you don't laugh, you either cry or are very upset. So, yeah, you got to laugh at some of this. It's absolutely nothing funny about what they did to the children, but what they did here. Yeah, law enforcement should do a bigger investigation on the people that were also involved in that. It's absolutely disgusting. It happens a lot in Utah. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's a ton of cults that this is going on. Most of the time, though, it's men, and the men are sleeping with the wives and the children, and there's a bunch of incest, except Stinky Jodi flipped the script here and wanted herself a female lover. Just saying. All right, let's keep going.
Doorbell of that neighbor, he saved their lives.
Sure did.
He saved their lives. Everybody who was holding Ruby accountable and commenting and sharing and making videos about this before the authorities were paying attention to it, thank you for doing that. There were so many people out here who were bringing awareness to this and talking about Ruby and Jodi. I used to see videos on it. People were talking about this a long time ago. People were talking about this for a long time before R escaped and before the authorities got involved. And they were talking about how they're unwell. Look at the stuff that they're preaching in this connections thing. Like, this is not normal. Like Ruby on there being like, they're zombies and you got to beat the fire out of them. But Jodi, I'm gonna all night long to get the demons out of her. I tell you what, some of y'all were claiming had a love affair going on. I saw those comments back when I was doing videos on this in the beginning. I could see it too. I just didn't want to say anything. Like, as a bisexual woman, Jodi is gay as hell. Coming from a bisexual woman, that woman is not.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you like I said, you got to laugh or cry, but yeah, they're actual connections. You're right, to Lori Vallow and the Visions of Glory. All of that is LDS, and people taking the LDS and what they preach and bringing it into their own context. Yeah, this creator is great. This is the first time I've ever heard. I didn't know, never had heard her. I was looking for something that was geared towards Jodi and Ruby being lovers and the actual demons and the possessions. That's how I wanted to put a take on this. Yes, it does all the time behind closed doors. They come out in public, they're better than anyone. We're all calling her. Can't fool us, Jodi. Exactly. Yeah, before this happened, I was like, why are they sitting on the couch? There's a huge couch and they're in the middle gap, sitting right next to each other, touching and holding hands. And like when they were out skiing and touching. It's like, I don't even get that close to my wife, barely. I'm like, dude, I'm not comfy. Scoot over. I love her, but like, I can't be next to someone that close all the damn time. Like, ladies, like, you're making it obvious. And then they took it to the whole nother level, guys. They could have just been lesbian lovers if they wanted to. They could have just said, you know what? I'm leaving you. You get the kids. But they went that route. Thank you so much, Sid, for the $1.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. The photos of Ruby on. Oh my God, yes. God, you guys got to watch. You're going to have to watch the documentaries. You can see all of it. Because these ladies are crazy.
Straight. And I think that she fell in love with Ruby and wanted her all to herself. That's what I think. And I think Ruby fell for it. And honestly, I'm scared for when Ruby gets out of prison. Like, there's actually this new photo of her that came out of her. It looks like they're doing like a little praying session with somebody in there.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted.
She looks.
That's what I wanted to show you guys too. And I put the name down there. I can't. It's Kyeluh, and I'll put it in StreamYard. This is the second time. It should be in my description. If it's not, I'll put it. You can go to her channel, Kyle. I don't even know how to say the name of the creator, guys. Kyeluh, Kyeluh. Anyway, go check it out. That's another thing I wanted to show you was her in prison touching the ladies and being all like yeah, I think she really just is gay and she didn't want to admit it. I don't think that you just turn gay for the day. I'm just saying, like, if you read my book, you can't just be gay for the day. I have to laugh, go uptown the Saturday middle of the street with the handbag. Yeah, it's Kyla. Okay, thank you. Pronounce Kyla. Thank you. There it is. There's the creator, guys. That's literally her name on there. It's just Kyla. And she has a ton of followers. So go check her out.
Looks at peace. She's probably still in religious psychosis. She thinks that, you know, all the demons out there are trying to pull her family apart. There was a hearing where she...
Okay, this is really good because we're talking about religious psychosis. That's the same thing that I believe that Lori Vallow is still in, right? We all just covered the Lori Vallow case and watched it, and we're hoping for more of it. I do believe she's still in it. Yeah, no, maybe gay for pay, but not gay for the day. I'll tell you that. There's no way to be gay for the day. Otherwise... let me tell you. All right, let's keep going.
Came out and she blamed everything on R. She said that he was being inappropriate with E and cousins and other people. And now because of that, R has been removed from homes with children and isn't allowed to live with his siblings. She's trying to ruin his life from prison. And honestly, if any of that stuff did happen, it's because you're his parent. It's just this woman is not well, and anybody who thinks that she's going to come out a changed woman is insane. And shame on Kevin, honestly, for, coming out and saying he still loves her. At first, I said I understand because of their history, but honestly, the more I thought about it, I don't actually understand, because if I found out somebody did that to my kid, I would have no love left in me for them.
Absolutely.
I would hope that there was a hell that they would burn in for doing that, honestly. So I take back what I said there, because once I sat with it, I was like, no, it's weird that he still loves her. And also the fact that Chad and Kevin were sitting together in this documentary, and Chad was still calling her mom and saying he would have a relationship with her. The fact that Kevin came out and said that they were writing each other from prison. He won't tell us what's in the letters. The fact that Sherry is not sitting with her dad and refers to him as Kevin.
Yep.
He blocked her number.
Yep.
When she said, I love and miss you. And he blocked her. We're going to talk.
Yeah, that man has a loyalty to Ruby that's beyond his kids, guys. And I got to tell you, I'm not that person. I'm not that person. Tori gave birth to Reese, and I still don't like it when she raises her voice at my daughter. Now it's our daughter, but I just don't like it. Or it's just, I don't know what it is. I just have this like mama bear protection. And of course we have two moms, so we got to both discipline, right? And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I have a feeling if Ruby gets out, let's say Ruby does only get like 4 years, 5 years. I have a feeling if she wants Kevin back, he's going to come running right back. He has a loyalty to her over his children, you guys, and that's what bothers me the most. And thank you, Virginia. Hello. More thumbs up. We have 157 people in chat. Come on, guys. He wanted Sherry arrested in the beginning, but then after he changed his tune, you got to watch the documentary.
Talk about Kevin in another video. We're going to go over that. I don't have time to go over it today, but we are. So subscribe if you're not yet. If you guys want to see that video, I'll show some footage, and we have more to talk about with this docu-series. There's a lot to say the least. There is a lot to say, but
yes, there is. And thank you so much I'll go to her channel and put it right here. There it is, guys. There it is. Hold on. Copy. Oh, you guys can see it right there. Kyla. That's it. You just go at Kyla. So I dropped it there. Definitely want to subscribe to her. Hopefully we get to see more content from her on my channel. And welcome everybody. All right, guys, we did an hour and 4 minutes, and I'm cold, I'm tired, and I'm hungry. So you guys, I love you. I'm going to see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have a call-in, a new show about Madeline Soto, new content. Did she fight? Who did she fight? What do the police have? What do they have from the swabs they got? You guys think about that, because you guys are going to be able to call in tomorrow. And then on Sunday, guys, we're going to do something really special. We're going to support Rebecca, Bree, and I'm talking about the Michelos, folks, with Toddy One and another special guest. I'm not going to spoil it. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Love ya. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Good night, guys.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?